on this computer. Perfect. So you should see recording. All right. So let's get right into it. I think the best way to approach this, because I know a lot of you guys reached out to me on Slack. Thank you again. You asked me some really good questions, or at least you started the conversation. So I kind of want to jump into those specific questions that you guys had, and or maybe if you have others, perfect, right? Again, I want to give you my 100% energy and focus for this hour, and I think this is going to be a good amount of people for us to do that. So I have the questions here, but if there's anything specifically you guys want to tackle first, I'll kind of go down the line. I'll go down the list of names here as far as like questions go. So I'll start with you, David. David, what
Yeah.
question would you like to ask right now? I think I'm looking at your Slack message, and you had mentioned that when applying for positions, a lot of what I've seen suggests there is a need to quantify performance for a resume. How could one illustrate their experience in these stories? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah. That was kind of an older question. So
Sure.
now that I have that job secured, it's kind of
Oh, right.
different now.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of my big questions was you talk a lot about story and you used the great Marvel example. I was just curious if you had some best practices, techniques on how to get started for actually, writing a customer story or your own story. I know that's probably pretty subjective, but if you have any ways to kind of get started and get the momentum going, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Great question. So I'll share a couple. The number one, what I've done actually is I've created a story inventory, right? And this is actually a collection of my own personal stories of just epiphanies, accomplishments, and anything like that, right? What it could be related to product, it could be related to work, it could be related to health, it could be related to life, it could be related to anything, right? But the point of this story inventory is a way for you to be able to pull from at any point, any time, whether you're meeting a new person, whether you're interviewing. It's just like a way for you to reference these stories, right? And it's like anytime you interact with a person, sometimes for the first time, you always have like these go-to stories that you reflect on, you share, right? Because they're just really good. They're memorable and everything like that. So I'm gonna share my screen and do this live. Let's see how well I'm good at this. I'll share with you my story inventory. I think I have it handy here. Uh, Please, I mean, I try to keep my drive organized, but sometimes it can get a little messy. So don't judge, please. I think I call it text timeline. Yeah. So this is a way. I gave a talk actually for product school, and this is one of the first elements that I always tell people to do is to embrace your past and to come up with this story inventory. And so as you can kind of see here, I've gone far as back to like even when I was in elementary school, right? Listing out little things about myself and things that stood out. And this is just a way that helps you to pull from your stories. Another really good tactic. So I would definitely do this, and I can send this to you if you want to like take a look. But you know, coming up with your own story inventory is a great way. A second way, I mean, in terms of coming up with really good stories or the framework of a story, I mean, I have some really good resources that I've been putting together, and I'll have to find it. I don't have it ready right now, but for me, I've been given the feedback that I need to work on my storytelling and my ability to communicate. It's just not like 100%. I mean, it's good, right? I'm good at what I when I communicate, but like being able to move people with emotion is really what I'm after. And for that specifically, I mean, I always refer to the podcasts and the others that are great communicators. I mean, one of my all-time heroes is Steve Jobs, and I can go on for days just watching his keynotes and just understanding how does he communicate. There's always like common threads of themes of things. It's always like the element of threes, right? Beginning, middle, and end. Using threes in your storytelling, getting people to kind of go through that roller coaster motion with you. So I'll find a couple of resources that have helped me, and I can share some of those, and hopefully that can help you as you're building your story inventory and work practicing on your presentation as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sweet. All right. Let's see. Who's next? Giovanni.
Yeah.
Is there a specific question you got?
Okay. Well, my background is more education. So like just studying, reading a bunch of books. I've been audiobooking, listening all about product management, just getting the deep dive into it.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's more on building up the skills and like for example, when you gave that example about going to Disney and having that portfolio or having your laptop to show your requirements. And I guess what I need more is doing more of that, that skill set. And then having to find the opportunities out there. Like I'm willing to volunteer my time. Like that's one of the things that just to improve on myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any options that you would know or how I would be able to go about to improve my skills in that end.
Yeah. Oh, get ready for this one. I'm excited for this one. So, okay. So I mentioned, remember that product audit that I told you that I did for Disney? I think that's actually one of the secrets of my success is to show people and to add value to people. And for you, if you're looking to like get started, you can use it and actually it could be a win-win situation for you. And here's how. So I'll share my screen again because I think it's kind of cool to see how I've used it and how it's actually helped me, and not even product management. It's helped me in like networking opportunities, and it's helped me in getting to meet people. So I came up with this little product audit. Let me see if I can find it. Product assessment, like template or framework. And you can kind of see here, these are all the people that I've done product audits for. So maybe you know some of their names: Jay Shetty, Jim Quick. These are all people in the personal development space. And one of my goal, or I would say aspirations, is to befriend a lot of these people. And one of the things that I've done actually was I created product audits for their products, whether it's a website or app. And it was a way it's actually two things that it did. So number one, it reinforced my knowledge of how to assess a product, right? Find opportunities, find problems and solutions to them. So it kind of helped solidify that. But it also added a way for me to start a conversation with someone, right? Like, so this is an example. So this is when I went to, and I mentioned this in the AMA, I did go to a Marvel premiere, the Endgame premiere, and I met Joe Russo, the director for that. And it was awesome. You know, one of the ways after the conversation, after that event, I reached out to him because I wanted to like try to befriend them. And he has a restaurant called the Duello Restaurant. So what did I do? I pulled out my product audit template and I said, okay, let me do a product audit on their website, right? I looked at their technology, what is it built with, assessed the guts of the product, right? What could it use? I looked at just in general local SEO. So this is, and obviously not product specifically, but I just looked at like other areas that could be improved.
Did you send this to us?
Yes, I will send you this as a template and you can use it. And this is, like I said, a great way for you to practice your product skills of identifying problems and addressing them with potential solutions. Because here's the thing, I could have literally just been like, here are all the problem areas and that's it. I took it a step further and I said, here are all the problem areas. Oh, and by the way, here's how I would fix it. So for example, I think I showed, like their content strategy, right? I took some pictures, some stuff like that. And then I said, okay, here are my recommendations. if I was your product manager, if I was on your team, this is what I would do. All right. And they can take it and they can use it and they can, love you for it, or they don't, nothing comes out of it, and that's fine. Right. As long as you know that you worked on yourself, which is great. And who knows, it could turn into an opportunity, right, for a networking event or for something like that, for something else. So this is one of my all-time secrets of like how to connect with people and reinforce your knowledge of product management skills. Cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That seems helpful.
Awesome. All right. Stop sharing. Who do we have next? Adeyemi? Do you have any specific questions, Adeyemi?
No, not at this point. I think it was just the question I had earlier on with you just wanted to know the difference between a PO and a product manager, because I know that a ton of online, and some say a person can wear both hats, which is be a PO and a PM.
Yep.
And then others say a product manager is completely different from a product owner. So it'd be good to hear your perspective on the differences and whether one can combine it or one should just focus on product management, which is what I'm interested in.
Yes. So here's my perspective. In my mind, a product owner and a product manager are the same thing. People will probably tell you otherwise. I don't, but this is my perspective. And I think from a responsibility standpoint, a product manager does the task. Here, let me take a step back. So, and I've never actually done this, so I'm kind of curious. If you go on LinkedIn, right? Obviously, we all know what LinkedIn is, and you find opportunities. But if you did a search for product owner, I'm just curious how many jobs there are for product owner. Okay, so 53. That's a good amount, 53,000, right? Jobs.
Okay.
And if you look at product manager, interesting, 193. That is very interesting. I have not seen that. I have always seen product manager as the top, or as far as product title wise. Interesting. So maybe things have changed. I will say then that then there might be a difference. But my perspective is that there is a focus on, when you think of product management, at least for me, I always think of the person who is interfacing with the different teams, right? All the different stakeholders to deliver a product, right, that adds value.
Okay.
And when I think about, like, actually, again, I'm really curious. Product owner. Drive. Roadmap.
What I've heard in the past, it's usually just more that the product owner has a more technical side. So the problems they work on are more engineering related versus product management might be more business facing and more abstract.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, anytime let's say in my past experience, right, 'cause I've led a team of product managers, and the title honestly has changed over time, right? I know that when I first started, people were called, at least in the entry level, it was product analyst, but now it's, I think, associate product manager, right? That's kind of like the entry level of a product. Like, product management is definitely evolved, since in the very beginning. I mean, there was no like courses or like focus, concentration, or whatever in school for product management. It was just like, it just came about. It just came out of the need and the necessity. So interesting. I'll have to like look into that a little bit more, because you definitely piqued my curiosity of product owner versus product management. Again, from my experience, I always see them the same, but I can take a look. for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Who do we have next? Let me stop sharing. All right. How about you, Barbara? Do you have a specific question that you wanted to ask?
No. It's been a very good session, so I'm just taking it all in for now. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect.
Maybe I can ask a quick question as well. Then now, 1 second. So I'm going to be managing a team of product owners. What, as a BA, as a senior BA, what should I be looking out for within that department? How do I manage them? What do I just need to know what they're doing and make sure that they're meeting the business objectives, or is there any advice that you can give me?
Sure. So let me ask a couple more questions to understand. So as your role in a BA or business analyst, are you focused right now on creating like requirements for these product managers, or what's your role?
Absolutely. So I create all the requirements. I engineer the whole requirement engineering process, and I create a requirement, upload in the system, and then the PO manage the backlog.
Yep. Got it. Okay. Yes. So, and I'm sorry, going back to the other question. I think actually now I know why I've never heard of product owner before, is because I feel like maybe now it's grown. The concept of product manager, product owner has evolved so much that you need multiple people to do multiple things, right? I know product management consists of, people needing to review and analyze the backlog, prioritize the backlog. Then there's people that have to do the strategy. So, okay. I'll get back to this at the end, because I have a diagram that I can show you that's pretty interesting.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Question, Barbara. So if you're creating user or the requirements, probably in the form of, are you creating them in the form of user stories or?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
User stories, acceptance criteria.
Yeah. So you are definitely a product manager's best friend, because at least in my experience, I've had opportunities where I have had to create the requirements myself, right? And also do other things, other product manager stuff. And I've also been in places where we've had business analysts who help create, the documents or the requirements. And then I've also been a product analyst in a way, or a business analyst in a way, right? So I definitely know, but you are 100%, at least in my opinion, a product manager's best friend. And if a product manager doesn't have those requirements in a way that the development team will understand and be able to build against them, there is no product, right? Like, it's like asking someone to build the house without, any diagrams or blueprints, right? So how can you work best with product managers? I mean, I always believe that, in my experience, being able to articulate the why, right, is important, even in the requirements. Like, why are we doing this? Because the developers are going to look at that and they're going to build it, and they're going to build it well. But you kind of always want to empower people to, because there's going to be problems, and knowing what this feature is all about, tying it back to the why is important, right? So as you work with product managers, I think that's probably another element that you can add to it, is trying to figure out the why, for the actual product itself, why you're doing this. And when you're creating those requirements, I mean, at least for me, I always, as much as we want to add text, and text is good, right? Because you can read it. But I've always been a very visual product manager, in that I will add pictures, I will add, examples, I will add links, I will add all this other stuff to the document, because I know that, we read so much. And again, this is me, again, my dyslexia. I try to avoid reading as much as I can. I refer to audio, right? I get things read out loud to me. But when I do have to read, I'm very focused. But if I add visuals, videos, images, screenshots, links, examples, right? Those are other elements that make your requirement document really pop, really stand out. And the product manager can use that to explain things as well to the developers, right? So hopefully that helped. And I can share, let me see if I can find a good example of one that I did. I'm gonna share my screen. Am I still sharing? No, I'm not. What's it called? I think it's Lightmaker. This one? Yeah. Okay, so this was actually this is the product audit or functional requirements that I did for Lightmaker, which is the creative digital agency, and how I think ultimately got the job there. So this was like a site, and I looked at the website of the wireframe and broke it up into its functional parts, right? So here you can see header, bottom. I basically labeled everything. I said, okay, here's all the different interaction pieces, right? And then I would create my functional spec of like what's going to happen, what's the requirement, what should happen on that thing, and essentially review this with the hiring manager, right? So you can see it wasn't that extensive, but as you can kind of tell, like I try to add visuals and things like that. So hopefully that explains it. Did that explain it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll stop sharing. All right. Ife, are you there?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so like most of us, like a few of us on this call are business analysts that are thinking of transitioning into product management. I just want to find out, like, because some of us we have this analytic skills already, and then so are you saying if we like as business analysts, if we were to get qualified as digital marketing specialist, like having those two would help us in product management? Because some of the things you've shown things like SEO, which is search engine optimization, all those digital marketing skills. Do you think that's really crucial to add to our skills and market ourselves as product managers? Is that enough?
Let's peel that back a little bit first. So I definitely think that there are certain people that enjoy being more of a generalist in terms of product management, others that enjoy being very technical as a product manager, and then others that are a little bit more business focused as a product manager. I think there was this one article that I shared and it showed, I don't know if I'll find it in time, but the point is, I think it's important first before you decide like what skills do I need and what to be a product manager. You have to kind of ask yourself first, like, what do you enjoy, right? And so this is like a little bit of the non-traditional, non-conventional type of advice that I know at least maybe you'd get from another product manager or a course of like, yes, you have to take this skill and do this and like, no. For me, I always thought that you have to figure yourself out first, right? You have to work on yourself. You have to figure out like what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you love, what are your passions, things like that. And once you figure that out, you work on yourself in those areas, right? And I would also add that yes, product having experience in SEO could be helpful, or having product or having analytics experience is helpful. But I believe more than I've ever believed before, now that I've been in product management for so long, the core skills that you truly need are the skills of communication, of like storytelling, of of connecting with people, coming up with like creative, or just connecting and kind of pulling things out of people, being able to like motivate people, because that's really what you're doing, right? I always say that, like, I mean, I love movies, and you know, a product manager in a way is almost like the producer, the executive producer of a movie, right? They're the person that's going to, you know, get all of the funds. They're going to connect people. They're going to get, I mean, they're not personally going to get the actors, but they're going to work, and they're the final, in a way, final say of like what is delivered to the audience. And in order to do that really well, you have to be an excellent communicator, right? You have to be an excellent storyteller. You have to get people to believe what you're saying, right? And you also have to be very, very good at observing the problems. I think so many times where we get stuck with like, oh, I got to learn this skill and I got to do this. And no, you have to really be good at just like look at a problem and find out and talk and be able to talk to people, right? Like I always say that we build product managers, we build products not for ourselves, we build it for other people, right? And so being able to listen to what, like, the pain points of your customers, and be able to like cluster those pain points, or make observations, and kind of prioritize what are the biggest pain points, how you can address those pain points quickly, right? And how can you address those pain points in long term, right? Those are the core skills like I always look for in product managers, right? And then obviously your ability to execute, your ability to execute, you can show that by doing stuff like the requirements document or the product audit, or things like that, right? So number one, definitely focus on yourself, what it is that you want, where you want to go, and also like what are your values, right? Like for me, my values are all around, you know, education, are all around happiness and fun, and also health. And so that's the reason why I chose the companies that I chose, right? I chose Johnson and Johnson because the healthcare company, right? So I'm very fit and I like to stay fit, and it kind of align with that value. You know, I chose Disney because of the fun and the happiness and you know, element of that entertainment that I love. And then I chose InStride, where I'm at right now, because of the fact that we are in a way helping people achieve their dreams through education. We're partnering with companies that offer education as a benefit to their employees, and we're working with universities and academic or education providers to make that happen, right? So it's like, once you're very, very clear of your own values and what you enjoy and what you love, you start to kind of like narrow down where you want to go, and then you really truly bring your full self to it as well, right? And so figure yourself out, right? And then work on the main skills that I think, and I think I mentioned in the AMA. Let me see if I brought it up. But like, yes, working on your storytelling, on your, you know, I think being very curious as well. Just be curious and ask why. And let me see, what did I write here? I don't want to go off. Okay, yeah. Storytelling, curiosity questioning, result-oriented, user empathy, and positive beliefs. So with storytelling, I already kind of mentioned it, right? Being able to articulate or pitch an idea, like motivate people, and how can you work on that? Well, that's coming up with your own story, or coming up with your own story inventory. That's, you know, and I'll share a couple of resources, but like, just listen, observe. I think we need to observe more people and observe how excellent communicators are, and just kind of write down notes. Like, what can we use that we can bring to ourselves? Curiosity questioning. This is one of those, like, you know, I didn't know what product owner versus product manager was. And I'm not ashamed to say, like, I don't know, right? I'm going to go find out. Right. And so that sense of curiosity is also really, really important for product managers, and being able to bring that to the table. Results-oriented mindset. Yes, this is, at least for me, you know, yes, you build a product for other people, but how do you know if it's effective, right? You have to be very good at understanding the goals from the very beginning, I'll share with you guys also, because you guys are my awesome coaching group here. Let me share my screen. I have a lot of templates that I think you guys can benefit from. And one of those is an analytics framework, or an analytics, what is it called? Oops. Measurement plan. That's what it is. Yeah. So, anytime you build a product, having a very clear measurement plan is also very important. And you don't have to know how to do the analytics or set up the analytics, but you have to at least know what is the goal? What is the purpose of building this thing? And how are you going to measure it? Right? What's the goal? And then even let me take a level back. Obviously knowing what is the objective, right? The business objective, what's the strategy, what's the goal, and how are you going to measure those goals, right? The KPIs. So having a good sense of that, and then obviously knowing what are your targets, how are you going to segment. This is very important. I think everyone who's building products should definitely have this sense of results, because if you're building something and people have it, great, you built it for people, but how do you know that it's working if you don't know the goals, right? The KPIs. So this is definitely helpful. And then the last thing, two more things. So results oriented, user empathy. Oh, this is, for me, developing user empathy comes with just being an active listener, taking surveys, really just caring about the product, and being a person that wants to solve people's problems and listen. And I told you the story that I in college, when I was coming up with my senior design project, right? We didn't have to do surveys and we didn't have to do any of that stuff. But when you can do surveys and you can talk to people and get their point, their voice of the customer perspective, you have a deeper sense of mission and purpose to build that product, right? Now you have a person that you're thinking about. And that's what I've done in every single job opportunity, at Disney, right? For example, my wife, she absolutely loves Disney. She uses the app and she struggles, right? I mean, I use the app too, but she struggles. And I think of her when I'm building the product, right? I'm thinking of, moms, I'm thinking of kids who are using the product, and that helps you in making decisions. So being able to develop user empathy by, I think a great way to practice this is just in your day-to-day, just kind of think about a product, right? And say okay, who does this product serve, and what are the problems that they're trying to address, right? Just be more observant of that. And then finally, the positive beliefs. Yeah, this is another one of my just all-time traits of success, I guess, is just being very positive, even in the failures, right? I mean, I got rejected 3 times for Disney, but every single one of those, it was a worthwhile rejection, because I kept on adding more and more to my eventual product audit, right? Or my eventual on-site interview. And that's really what you should see every single opportunity as. Every single failure, every single, I didn't get this opportunity. Look at it from a different lens, and you'll find that you become a little bit more, you become stronger from it, right? So my words of encouragement for any of you guys who are let's say you're trying to get in, but it's not working, just stick with it. I mean, and I can also help, right? The whole time I'm doing this coaching call, yes, as kind of a way to answer your questions, but I do offer more personalized coaching, and we can go into that later, but that's really what I'm all about. So that was a long answer, but did that help?
Yes, thank you, definitely. Thank you.
Sure. Awesome. All right. How about you, Kwame?
No questions at the moment. I'm just literally taking everything in. So yeah, so far so good. Very helpful. I think Ife literally asked the question that possibly, obviously, because she's a BA,
Yeah.
she probably thinks the same way I think. So she literally asked the question that I more so came here for. So
Okay.
at the moment, no questions as such.
Perfect. Awesome. I see we have another person join. Is it Olu? Olu?
Yep. Thanks, Rich. It's been, I really enjoyed this session with you. I'm also a BA guy, and I've been in the BA industry for like 6 years now. Looking forward to take myself to the next role, and product owner or product manager is one of the kind of the role I'm looking towards. And I worked in Amazon for 4 years, and I worked as a BA, and I'm currently working for First Group, which is part of Department for Transport for UK, and I'm working on a data migration. So I'm looking forward to moving to the next level of the project phase. And then I believe most of the questions that I have in mind has been said by most of the colleagues in the house. And probably I'll be happy if we get all those templates that you have, because it looks magic. Even at all, even at all, I'm squeezing my face because I'm using my phone. I'm not with my laptop, so I'll be happy if we have the copy of the templates at least, so that we can do some review on them and then build our confidence from there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, I'm all about trying to make things easier for people, right? And I know that, at least for others, not knowing the tools or the resources that existing product managers use is sometimes hard to get, right? I mean, you can go try to look for stuff and everything, but I mean, why not just get it from someone who's already done it, right? I mean, and I don't again, I created these documents as a way to help me and build my own expertise, but I'm sure they'll definitely help you. Let me share a couple more. If there are no other questions for now.
I'm sorry, before while you're sharing, or you can go ahead. I just wanted to find out, please. So have you ever seen any business analyst become a product manager? Because I'm just a bit curious about some project managers and like people that are recruiting for project managers asking about experience.
Yeah.
So are you saying from our CV, like if you want to go for a product management role, you can just like tailor your experience and match it and sell yourself, and you have a chance? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. No, I have seen business analysts become product managers. I have seen even just myself, really. I was in a way business. I had the title of business analyst or business analyst, and I obviously became a product manager, right? It all does depend on what word you use, in your resume and how you introduce yourself or talk to yourself to people. And so here's another like tactic I'll share. The idea that we have to create a resume. We send it in and we wait. That's the old way of, not the old way. That is the way that people try to get jobs, right? I believe that's not the only way, right? I think that another great way is connecting with people, right? We, as a society, we're starting to, hopefully not shift too far away from this, but we're not having as much, in my mind, human interaction or connections and taking advantage of networks, right? And maybe you guys are, but at least for me, I wasn't. And I was just relying on the resume, submitting and waiting and submitting and waiting. And so I decided, you know what, let me do something. Let me change something about that. And that's, again, when I came up with like the product audit. and kind of like saying, okay, how can I connect with people, give them something of value, and show them that I can be a product manager, right? Because at the end of the day, like if you have the business analyst skills or business analyst, you can create documentation, you can create, something that is used to build something. So you have those skills, right? I think now it's about saying, being a product manager and how you have those skills and how that translates into product manager, right? Being a product manager and what you're doing right now to become a product manager. So like another thing that I remember I did was I'm obsessed with Product Hunt. You know, that app or the website Product Hunt. Let me go and share my screen again. Product Hunt is where I literally go and I'm just, oh, that's not it. Oh no, okay, good. It's where a lot of people, entrepreneurs, startups, product managers, just anyone really create products and somehow, or not somehow, people will back that product or that thing, and it'll make its way into Product Hunt, right? And being just an observer of other people's products is also another great way to just develop your talking points, right? So let's say you're in, I'll give you as an example, right? So you have business analyst background and you have the title business analyst and everything, just screams business analyst, right? So that means you have to show that, you can still know how to identify the problems. You still know how to identify a strategy. You still know how to, work with designers and developers, right? Is physically work with them. And so, a great way is to just see what other products are out there and kind of, again, imagine yourself as a product manager and figure out like, what are some of the things why was this product created, right? I think being very curious in design allows, and by jumping into, let's say, for example, user flow is another one that I go to. User flow, and this is literally just like for fun. Like I see this as fun. I truly enjoy doing this. It's just I'm understanding and learning. No, this is not it. What is it? I thought it was user flow. It's not user flow. Okay. Maybe it changed. Page flow. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Page flows. This is another I come here for inspiration. I come here for just enjoyment, observation of like, how do other products do their things? Like, how do other people do onboarding? How do other people do, the concept of upgrading, right? Inviting people. Like, these are all problems that product managers have solved, right? And so instead of like recreating the wheel, like there's like, places where you can find and see what they're doing and just like, say, oh, this I like this. Oh no, I don't like this, right? Kind of develop your intuition, if you will, your spidey senses by just observing and appreciating and agreeing and disagreeing and creating lists of stuff, right? And this is one of those places that I go to, as well as Product Hunt. And the other one that I like is, anytime I'm using a product, I'm always screenshotting stuff. So I think that's another really great way, another great tactic. Is like, if you're on a website, if you're on your phone especially, just take a screenshot of something you liked, or like just take a moment to like say, oh, this is cool. Take a screenshot, maybe try to organize it, categorize it. That's what you're really developing, is you're developing a sense of, you're developing almost like a new perspective. Because as a business analyst, maybe your perspective is only documentation and requirements and all that stuff. Now, as a product manager, you have to have a different perspective. You have to see the world in a different way, and appreciate and marvel and showcase, products in a different way. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. This has been very, very helpful. So yeah, but you're going to show us some templates before I
Yes. I was going to show some templates. So let me show you a couple more. So obviously the measurement plan is one that I will share out, and I think is really helpful. Another one that I like is my competitive analysis. How many of you guys have ever done a competitive analysis? You guys know what that is? No? It's all good.
We've heard of it, but I would
I
like
have.
templates and how you.
Yeah, sure. So I'll share with kind of you how I do mine. So again, I always stick to the idea of, like, first, it's all about the goals, right? Understanding the goals, obviously understanding the problem, and then how are you going to address those. So I have this, actually, no, it's not this one. Is it this one? No, this is for social. Let me find the other one. I think it's this one. I created it for, no, it's not this one. I'll have to find it. It's it's an actual document where I list out, actually, let me go here. There's a couple things I want to show in here. Okay, never mind. I don't want to waste some more time. I can't find it. I'll definitely share it with you guys. I have a competitive analysis template that I usually like to run. Just a quick, tip while we're at it. I use SimilarWeb anytime I'm like looking at, and you can tell I have so many Chrome extensions. I can set a whole list of Chrome extensions that I think are really helpful. But one of the Chrome extensions that I love to use from a competitive analysis standpoint is SimilarWeb for web and app. So if you haven't seen that, similarweb.com, it's where I go, and it does a fairly good job of actually getting you information or insights about products and services, or mostly products. But let's say we're interested in Hulu, and they have an app, they have a web. So this is the web right now, but it'll give you an idea of like estimated traffic, right? So this is gold. Like, this is like, I always see this as like, oh my gosh, like, if I'm going to be doing competitive analysis, like, this is the stuff I need to know. Like, what are my competitors? How much traffic are they getting? Where's their traffic coming from? Breakdown of things like that. And so they don't have everything, but for the most part, it's very good for like directional. And that's all you really need when you're doing competitive analysis. It's like really just like a directional sense of like how your competitors are doing. So that's Hulu. So let's just check out Netflix. Let's see how they're doing. So not too surprised that they're down, but you can see billions. Oh my God. Billion. I mean, yes, it makes sense, right? But 2.3 billion every month. And this is estimated in terms of traffic. So this is the scale you're working with when you're talking with like Netflix, right? Actually, no, I have never done this. So let's see what Disney Plus is at. Do any of you have? Actually, no. The UK folks, you can't get Disney Plus yet, right? I don't think you have Disney Plus. No Disney Plus fans. It's all good.
I got Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But the ESPN app doesn't work.
Oh, it's not working.
Yeah, well, it's not good, in my opinion.
You gotta talk to that product manager. Yeah, so they're growing, Disney Plus. Anyway, so this is a tool that I use for competitive analysis, SimilarWeb. What else do I like to use? Again, when I find my actual document, I'll send that over to you. And it's a great way to, oh, this is just like a Chrome extension. And again, this is just like for my own curiosity. I always like to use, I always like to know like how people are searching for a product. So let's say Hulu, for example, right? I have this, it's a Chrome extension called, what is it called? Keywords Everywhere. And it's a cool plugin. You can see like how other people are actually searching for that specific thing. And so if you're ever going to be building a product, especially if it's consumer focused, you know, and it's on Hulu, you have to like, you know, it's good to know like what are people actually asking or putting into Google to get to that product, right? So these are some of the
Hi, Rich. All these websites and Chrome extensions, are they free?
Yes.
Do they have like help documents to teach you how to use it, or you just go on and just start exploring?
I would expect that there to be some. I mean, SimilarWeb is free, but there is also a paid version, right? So obviously, if you want to like, I think, get more, you have to pay. But I haven't paid for it. I mean, I'm using the just whatever they offer you. This one is also free. They do have a paid version, but I don't use it. So I would imagine most products nowadays, they usually have a help. And if they don't, then that's shame on them. But yeah, no, I can share some of these links and some of these extensions for sure. What's the other one I wanted to show you? Okay, so competitive analysis, product audit. Oh, this one. I think it was called. It's in my iPhone. Bear with me. So we have like 15 minutes left. I don't want to. If there's any other burning questions, I do want to get to them. Do you have any other questions, guys? I just want to make sure that
is there any way that you can, like, you're giving us like these list of tools or resources? Can you possibly share that with us, like what you use or what type of tools you would use every day in doing these analysis or doing this product management work?
Sure. So tools that I use. Cool. Is there anything else? I definitely want to keep this as an ongoing conversation, even after the coaching call. So I got one is product owner versus product manager, just kind of like, you know, looking more into that. Other one is just tools in general that I use as a product manager. Any other?
I'd say a lot of those templates from earlier as well.
Templates. Cool. All right. Let me see if I can find the last one. And this is no. Okay. I think it's in here too. So one of the things that I love to do, so just getting a good sense of the full product development life cycle is very important for product managers, right? So let me take a step back. Anytime you start as a product manager, I always say to people that you have to focus on 4 things: the people, the product, the process, and the priorities, right? 4 big things that you always have to focus on and always ask yourself. Who are the people, both internally that you're working with and also externally, like, you know, partners and vendors, and who are the users, right? What are their pain points? How long does it take for that user, that person to do that task, to address those problems? So that's people. Then there's the product, and this is all about, like, you know, what technology is it using? what features does it have? What, you know, how do people, just everything about the product, right? So knowing that, and so like that's what I use. Like I think I shared this in the AMA, but just for people who haven't seen it, that Built With is one of those places that I go to understand the actual guts and or the sense of a product. So like, Hulu.com. Again, this is free. It's free for the first 4, I think, searches, and you have to pay for it. So I think what I do is I usually I only pay for things that like I know that is part of my own business. I'm not doing this in the business of needing this. But anyway, so if you go to Hulu, you can see like here's like all the stuff about the actual product itself, like what they use, and so this is like really cool to know. Just figure out all about the product. The third is figure out the process, right? So whether that's the process, the full development lifecycle process, like from ideation, strategy to design to, user story creation, development, launch, optimization. Like know that for your company, know that for where you're going. And then the fourth is priorities, right? And what are the priorities of the company? So like I'm helping out someone right now, try to get a job at Hulu. And one of the things that we did is we went to their Hulu, the Hulu site and figured out like okay, so if you're going to try to get a job at Hulu, perfect, great. You love Hulu and you've aligned to their vision and everything like that. Okay, perfect. So what are their priorities? How can you add value? How can you as a product manager, contribute to their priorities? What are their priorities? And so like we went to their about page. Where is it? I saw it. I think it's about. And you can also get this from just like asking, right? You ask product managers like, what are your priorities? Like, what are you focusing on this year, 2020? What are you focusing on next year? And if the more you know about the priorities, the better you are able to align your product decisions against those priorities, right? Yeah, so you can see here's how they founded, their story about Hulu. I have to find the actual service, the page. But anyway, so priorities, knowing the priorities is also really important. And this is also like knowing your own priorities is also important, right? What are your priorities as a product manager and how are they aligning with your bosses or with the company? Because I believe that the moment that you can do work that is aligning with high level priorities and you do it well, people will see it, people will recognize it, right? You want to work on things that will change and make a difference. Okay, so we got some people here. Guys have to go. It's been awesome. Oh, no worries. Thank you, Kwame. Please share the story inventory. Yes, I'll do that too. Let me add that to the list. We're at 9:22. Story inventory. What else do you guys got for me? Anything, any burning questions right now? Like, actually, let me ask you guys some questions. So, let me stop sharing. Who do we still have? Giovanni, Ademi. Sorry, I'm butchering that. David, Ife, Olu. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys some questions, just really brief, just kind of curious to know. Number one, where would you like, maybe if you thought about it or not, is there a company that you would like to be in or work for? And have you thought about why? Let's go with that. Yeah, okay. So let's start with you, Adeyemi.
Yeah, mine probably would be Google.
Cool.
and it will just be for their innovation and simplicity. Sounds like one fun place to work and learn cutting edge stuff, working with some very, very brilliant people.
Love it. Yeah, no, I've interviewed with Google. Definitely a very extensive process. So if that's something that you're very serious about, we and after this, I do offer personalized one-on-one coaching, and we can talk about that if that's interests you. But that's good. No, knowing where you want to go is really good. If you don't, that's fine. I'm also, I know that I know how people can sometimes struggle with that. So I can help with that too. But cool. David, what about you?
Yeah, I think honestly Disney would be an awesome one. So I'm a huge Marvel guy, but if I could do product management for a Star Wars theme, like that would be my dream job. That'd be amazing.
That is good. I like it. Okay. What about you, Giovanni?
Well, of course, it's always Google, but my second one and what I really wanted the company that I've been looking at is Consens. So it provides like blockchain solutions. And that's the space that I kind of want to go into, producing product or do product management within the blockchain space.
Very cool. What is the company called again?
Consens.
Consens. Are they a startup?
No, they're part of like the Ethereum network. So they've been established. They partner up with a bunch of companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and they build their blockchain for them, pretty much.
Interesting. How do you spell it?
CONSENSYS.
That's one. There we go. Consens. Interesting. Okay. And where are they based in?
And somewhere in the East Coast.
Okay. Yeah, blockchain is, I have a couple of buddies of mine who are in it and they absolutely love it. I'm still like trying to fully appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
So like I had a little bit of Bitcoin and then I was like, I'm good with this. Awesome. Cool. That's cool. What else? Let's see. Who else do we have here? Olu. Where would you want to be a product manager?
There are two companies on my mind, and the first one is Ministry of Defense, UK Ministry of Defense.
Oh.
And the second one, I've done an interview with them, and I'm on the screening stage. So hopefully something, and that's Boeing.
Boeing.
Yeah.
Nice. And is that going to be in the UK as well?
Yeah. Basically, I applied for business analyst role, and during my first interview, and when the kind of the questions, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years or something like that. So then I used the opportunity to chip in my direction because I have a background in project management.
Yeah.
So and I was kind of I enjoy what they do, the kind of products they have, so I used the opportunity to align my vision with them, to while I've been longing for so long to join the organization. And to be honest, that was my third interview with them. So like you did with Disney.
Nice.
I failed the first two, to be honest. So this is the third one, and I'm pretty have a good chance to get in now. So all fingers crossed. So those are the two companies on my mind presently, but anything can change in the future. So
yeah, no, that's good. I love it. Awesome. Thank you. And let's see. What about you, Ife? Where would you want to be? Where would you want to go as far as product management in terms of company? And
Well, I was looking at some like the job description for product managers in Google.
Yeah.
But I was and also I've been looking at, because I'm more passionate about healthcare, so I'm trying to look for product management in healthcare, because that kind of aligns with my value more.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm still looking. So I haven't found one yet, and but I'm trying to see if that opportunity can open even where I am at the moment. Because at the moment I'm working on the Department of Health, and we don't really have product managers. We have business analysts, we have product owners, but the company is restructuring, and I think the way they're restructuring now, they're going to start introducing product managers. So I want to use that opportunity to start like doing project management job on the current project I'm on, so that when it's time, or I can just say, oh, this is what I want to do in the next 1 to 2 years, and so yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
Awesome. No, I love it. I actually, you'd be surprised with healthcare. Right now, it's like, I mean, huge, right? Obviously, it's unfortunate, but the coronavirus and everything, right? Like, healthcare is always one of those areas that like will always be a very focused energy place to invest in. And with Google, I think I remember hearing that they're starting to kind of play in the healthcare space. So there could be an opportunity where you could have both. If that's not the case, I know plenty of healthcare opportunities as well, and we can definitely talk about that offline. But
okay,
awesome. All right, well, we're at 9:30, and I wanted to just quickly just say thank you, first of all, to all you guys for joining. And I hope that this was valuable for you all, and has been something that you can take away with. I will put together some of the documents that I shared, and also from the templates and all that stuff. And just know that I am here as a resource, and I want to continue to help whoever you guys wants to go further and deeper, right? I'm here. And I'm thinking about probably doing another session. Well, I will be doing another session later today, if you guys want to join that as well and ask another question if you forgot. I personally enjoy doing this type of forum of communicating versus like typing and emails, because I'm just not that fast when it comes to that stuff. So thank you. This has been amazing on my part. I really appreciate you guys joining, and I look forward to talking with you guys more, and hopefully being a part of your journey a little bit more, right? Because I do know, I actually, before I left Disney, one of my goals was to be a director, right? I was like, that was like, for me, when I was younger, or when I was in college, I was like, I want to be a director. I don't care where it is. I want to be a director. And at Disney, I worked my way up because I had so much passion for the brand, and I worked my way up from a product manager to a senior product manager to from a senior product manager to a manager, actually managing teams of product managers, and I actually got a chance to be a director. It was literally offered to me. I was offered a position as a director, but I turned it down. And I turned it down because I wanted to pursue an area that I've always been passionate about, and that was education. And so, it was a hard decision for me, but I ultimately did that knowing that I could be in a place where I could, really, really spread my wings. And being now at an InStride and kind of being in the education space, that's kind of what really has pulled me to my purpose of like helping people really just give people the keys to unlock their own superpowers, their own strengths within themselves, right? And so that's what I'm all about, really just helping you guys. So thank you. I will.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rich. I personally enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
It was a great session. Great session.
So are you going to email us, or some people you don't have some people's emails here, or how are we going to get the materials?
I will, I think from what I remember, if you submitted an invite to get this calendar invite, I think you had to provide your name and email. And so
Yes, correct.
so I'll probably use that to send the information.
Okay, thank you very much, Rich. We'll be looking forward to receiving it.
Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, cheers.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.